They're absolutely delicious, these biscuits. You see what I did there? Let me just finish eating this. Did you notice how I flipped the sentence? So I made the comment first, and then I added the noun of what I was talking about after. When you do that, that little part that you add to the end is called a tail. And when you start using them, your English is going to sound way more natural, but also very British. You'll notice that a lot of Brits do this. In this English pronunciation lesson, you're going to learn what tails are, how native speakers use them and how you can use them too, and how the intonation changes when you use tails to express different meanings and emotions. So you're going to learn the most common intonation patterns for tails, such as the classic fall rising tone, and other tones like the fall tone, which can give the impression of being critical or judgmental or sounding annoyed. This is quite an advanced feature of English pronunciation, so if you feel that it's a little bit tricky, then don't worry, it really is for a more advanced level. If you'd like to learn about the basics of intonation first, like what is tone, what is pitch, what is intonation, then I do have a full video that talks about many different intonation patterns and gives you a full introduction on intonation. The link to the video I will put somewhere up in the cards above and also down below in the description for you. By the way, my name is Emma and welcome to my channel Pronunciation with Emma, where I teach English learners around the world about British English pronunciation. I'm a Cambridge CELTA qualified English teacher and I've been teaching for over 16 years now. I also have a background in linguistics and a master's degree in teaching English. If you're not too sure where to get started with English pronunciation or what you should be focusing on first, then you need to download my free English pronunciation pack. The pack includes my best English pronunciation lessons that give you a solid foundation to help you work out the kind of problems you're having with pronunciation, and it will lead you up to more advanced features such as connected speech, intonation, stress, and rhythm. It also includes a free story for you to listen and repeat after my accent to help you improve your English pronunciation. To download your free pronunciation pack, just click the link down below in the description. Right, let's get started with the lesson. Let's start with what is a tail? So in informal speech, a tail is when you make a comment first and then you add a noun or noun phrase after it to clarify what the original comment was about. For example, you probably say something like, "The coffee is very strong." A perfectly normal sentence. However, imagine you're drinking the coffee and you want to say, "Oh, it's really strong." Then an afterthought comes in to talk about the coffee. It's really strong, this coffee. So it's like the comment is the main part. You commenting on the coffee is the main part of what you're saying. But then you have this afterthought of, oh, better quickly clarify. It's the coffee. And that part that you're adding to the end, this coffee, is the tail. Here's another example. Your new flat is gorgeous. It's gorgeous, your new flat. So, it's gorgeous. I'm giving the comment first, almost like not an exaggeration, but it's just placing more emphasis. It sounds more important as the comment. It's not the flat that is important, it's the comment I'm making about it. So, there are different intonation patterns that you can use with tails, depending on the type of emotion you want to give. The classic neutral, let's call it neutral tone, is a fall rising tone. For example, she's really talented, your sister. Your sister. So you're going to go down on that stress syllable, then up at the end. She's really talented, your sister. Now this may feel a little bit weird at first, but really try to exaggerate it. She's really talented, your sister. Now your language may work in a different way where you don't use intonation like this. This is perfectly normal in English. I'm not doing this to sound theatrical or anything like that. It's a perfectly normal use of intonation in a sentence. Here's another one. It was a long one, that meeting. It was a long one, that meeting. If it helps move your head. It was a long one, that meeting. It was a long one, that meeting. It's a bit tricky, that question. It's a bit tricky, that question. Absolutely gorgeous, that view. Now with view, it's just one syllable. So instead of jumping like we did with question and sister and meeting, we're going to slide around the word. View. So all together, absolutely gorgeous, that view. View. You hear how it slides? Absolutely gorgeous, that view. So notice when you're using this fall rising intonation, it's quite neutral. It's like a neutral, normal comment that you're making. So you're probably thinking, well, Emma, what happens if we do a fall intonation pattern? Well, if you use a falling tone on both the comment and the tail itself, it can sound a little bit disapproving or critical of something that you're commenting on. For example, it's a complete waste of time, that. It's a complete waste of time, that. So I'm saying that, like that thing, that activity. It's a complete waste of time, that. Now, when I talk about this in lessons and I use this that tone, a lot of students are like, but Emma, that sounds like a rising tone. It's not. If it were a rising tone, it would sound like that. But this is starting high and then sliding down. That. It's a complete waste of time, that. It's a complete waste of time, that. That's a really poor decision, that one. That's a really poor decision, that one. Absolutely terrible, the whole thing. Absolutely terrible, the whole thing. It's not my idea of fun, cleaning all day. It's not my idea of fun, cleaning all day. So you hear the difference. When we use a fall rising tone, it sounds friendlier, a bit warmer, but it's more like a neutral comment, right? But when we use a fall tone on both the comment and the tail, it sounds a bit more critical. Maybe even like you're a bit annoyed or irritated in some kind of way. So it's used mostly for negative things, is this one. Now there's a type of tail where instead of using a noun or noun phrase, you just repeat the subject and the verb. This is really, really informal, but used a lot in casual speech. Here's an example. She's so driven, she is. She's so driven, she is. He's so annoying, he is. So we're using a falling intonation on the comments, and then we're going up again, like we did with the first ones that we looked at. He's so annoying, he is. I won't change the subject. He's so annoying, he is. They absolutely nailed it, they did. They absolutely nailed it, they did. So here, the tail can be the subject and the verb to kind of reinforce what you've already said. And finally, with WH questions like what, when, where, why, who, and so on, you can add a tail to help clarify what the question is about. For example, when does it start, the ceremony? So, when does it start? The other person may be thinking, what are you talking about? What context do we have here? So again, as an afterthought, you're adding the ceremony. What time does it start? The ceremony. Fall. What time does it start? The ceremony. How long did it take? The journey. How long did it take? The journey. Who organised it? The event. Who organised it? The event. So here the tail is adding just a little bit more information to clarify what the WH question was talking about. Now for the fun part. Let's have a look at some common mistakes that my students normally make. There are 3 that I want to talk about. Firstly, number 1 is that your intonation is too flat. Now, depending on your native language, you may have a very different intonation pattern compared to English and a completely different rhythm. So, it's very normal for some students to say things like, she's really talented, your sister. She's really talented, your sister. Now that doesn't sound very enthusiastic about the poor sister, right? So you need to make sure you're really exaggerating the intonation. She's really talented, your sister. She's really talented, your sister. Like, really try to exaggerate it. The second mistake that my students make is overstressing every single word. Now, of course, in English, we have strong and weak forms of words. So if we take a sentence like, it's brilliant, that film, if you're stressing every word, this can really interfere with how the intonation's used. It's brilliant, that film. Yeah, you're adding rising intonation to each of them because you're stressing everything. So make sure you're only stressing the important and key words in the sentence. For example, it's brilliant, that film. It's brilliant, that film. And finally, number 3 is that some of my students don't leave enough of a pause between the comment and the tail. So for example, many students may rush through it thinking, if I say the sentence faster, then I'll sound more fluent. That's not the case in English. So saying something like, it's brilliant, that film, and you're just, yeah, it doesn't give the other person time to really process what you're saying. So add just that little tiny pause there. It's brilliant, that film. It's brilliant. Micro pause. It's brilliant, that film. It's brilliant, that film. And that's the end of today's British English pronunciation lesson. I hope you've enjoyed it and you've learned something new. Remember, if you'd like to improve your English pronunciation, but you have no idea where to get started, or maybe you're already at a good level. If you're watching this, then maybe you're already quite advanced, but you're thinking, what do I improve? How do I know what to work on next? Then you can download my free English pronunciation pack. The link to download it is down below in the description. Also, let me know down in the comments, did you enjoy this type of lesson? Do you want more videos on advanced intonation patterns like this one? If so, tell me in the comments and I can make more for you. Thank you for watching. Remember to like and subscribe if you'd like to see more English pronunciation videos. Enjoy the rest of your week and I will see you in the next English pronunciation lesson. Bye bye.